Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 315. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Crash, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing good, boss man.
Don't call me, bro. What are you doing? Don't bring our outside life into the podcast. That's not how this works. You know, as soon as that hello starts, our lives are cut off and we are in on Xbox professionalism.
I thought we were being real here.
Real? What does that? What does
No
not,
facades, no fakeness. You're boss man to me, Fix.
I'm not. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this one bit. I want you to know that. Okay.
Okay, I'll stop it, boss man.
And of course, joining us as always, Mr. Matt P. Video. Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
Can we not? Can we not? Can we? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's been said when I disappeared to go get water. I do actually, because I had headphones on the whole time. Why am I now boss man and sir?
You're in charge.
Honestly,
Fix.
it just happened naturally. You fit those titles so well that they're the best thing to call you, Sir Boss Man.
I mean, that sucks. I don't like being sir boss man. I gotta be honest with you. Makes me sound old. Which to you two, I am old.
You're not old.
No.
Damn, I just thought about it. To you two, I am old.
You're not it's like 18 months between us. Like it's not.
Yeah, but I got a bed at
18
10 o'clock.
months between us, Fix.
There's not.
You go to
8
bed
months
at 10.
Yeah, I got a bed at 10 o'clock, like on the dot. Like a minute past 10, and I am grouchy. So me going out last night, I was grouchy as fudge. Let me tell you, super grouchy.
What'd you get up to last night, Fix?
I went to KSI show. I was invited by a friend of mine to. I thought I was going to work, so I got there and I thought I was there to work. So I brought my camera and stuff, and no, I wasn't there for work. I was there just to have fun and to meet KSI. So yeah, I went and I was backstage with P Money, anyone who knows who P Money is. So I was in the green room with him because he was performing, and I took Haley with me. And yeah, so I was just chilling backstage at the KSI show. I met Craig David. Some of you may know him. I met all of the sidemen, apart from Harry, and I met Cal Freezy, Calux. Who else did I meet? Randolph. All of the big YouTubers in the UK. I met all of them. So yeah, it was an interesting day. It was an interesting day, to say the least.
Very cool. Very jealous.
If you want to hear more details about it, go check out my VOD from today, which would have been the 14th or the 10th or the 10th or the 14th, depending on where you are from. But no one gives a crap about that. This is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast here on youtube.com/myxboxandme and all podcast services. If you want the show early and to get some extra goodies and support the show, head over to patreon.com/mcfixer. Don't forget to review us on iTunes. I just checked the reviews to see if we got a new one. We haven't.
Not on my side
guys.
either.
No new reviews. After a 10-minute conversation about reviews, shocker.
You
They
scared
stopped
them off.
reviewing. They stopped reviewing. Shocker.
They got scared off.
They were like, we're gonna get called out for 4 stars. No way. I'm not commenting. No way. But remember, you can go and review us on all of your podcast choices. iTunes is the big one for us, just because that's the one that helps us rank better. So yeah, please consider doing so if you have an Apple product of some sort. I think that's a fair ask, you know? Fair ask.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Topic of the show this week, lads. Topic of the show is a question we got from Lewis, and he says, "Hey guys, hope you are all well. I've been thinking a lot about advertising recently. More specifically, if advertising a game so heavily on one system can cause a negative impact on overall sales. For example, Psychonauts 2 was released for Xbox and PlayStation, but it's been so heavily advertised for Xbox and Game Pass, I wonder if the sales on the PlayStation side have taken a hit and and affected the overall sales. The same thing happened with Monster Hunter World when it was released. It was so heavily advertised in PlayStation that a lot of casuals didn't even know it released on Xbox. I do remember that, actually. Games like Monster Hunter World have been a success in sales regardless, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Best regards, Lewis Glover, Potato. Potato indeed, sir. Potato indeed. Guys, does having the marketing rights to a video game negatively impact a game?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of people who see video game advertisements, like mainstream gamers, don't necessarily clock whether or not it's an Xbox, unless you are looking up that trailer and you are on the Xbox YouTube channel or the PlayStation YouTube channel, and you kind of get that stinger at the front. And if you see like a TV ad or whatever, like that comes at the end, by then you've already kind of switched off, right? Like, I think we recognize it as, we talk about sort of the top 1% of enthusiast gamers who care about this sort of stuff. But
Finally,
the other 99%,
about time I got there.
Damn right. Probably more so. Probably more like the top 0.5%. And everybody listening is in exactly the same boat, right? Like, we care, we notice these things, but I don't think 99.9% of gamers who are just scrolling through TV kind of clock that, right?
Yeah. I think the ones that do, because there have been, like, Destiny's a case as well where people thought it was exclusive to PlayStation. I think it's kind of a trade-off where you get the core market of that platform, but you might lose a little bit of the other platform for a time until that game really skyrockets into the mainline. Because at a certain point, like even with Monster Hunter, there was a point where you no doubt you knew it was on Xbox, because it would have been on the store page, it would have been on the front page or somewhere, where it is up to the other side's job to capitalize on that and sort of let people know, oh, this game's also on our platform, so that you don't think, oh, that's an exclusive to the other platform, I gotta get an Xbox or whatever the case is to play it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Destiny is an interesting one where that definitely had some boost, I think, from kind of that PlayStation exclusivity. It wasn't exclusivity, but that marketing deal. But was it really impacted on Xbox? I mean, truth is, we'll never know, because we'll never see behind those closed doors of these kind of things. And so we kind of just have to speculate on it. But yeah, I don't know. Fix, can you think of an example where you think it's really impacted the game?
I can't think of a specific example. The question, I want to answer the question because I have this bad habit of changing questions for they get asked, which is something I am cognizant of. But I don't think it negatively impacts a game's overall sale. No, I think Psychonauts was going to sell what Psychonauts was going to sell. I think we're in a very different time right now, for Xbox specifically, right? Because they don't actually want you to buy Psychonauts, they want you to buy a month of Game Pass. So it's a hard one. I don't think it negatively impacts it. I think it just changes the way we think of said game, being whatever it is, right? I think maybe Marvel Avengers is a good one, right? That didn't have necessarily have, like, the marketing wasn't all, it was PlayStation obviously, but it wasn't, I don't think it was egregiously PlayStation in your face and all this stuff. But what did they have on the box? Spider-Man exclusive here. And that was enough to get someone like me, who is a Xbox player through and through, go, damn, I'm playing this on PlayStation. Over PC, over Xbox, I'm playing this on PlayStation. And I know that's not necessarily the same thing, but I think it's a form of marketing, right? So that would negatively impact the fact that I didn't buy it on Xbox, which in turn, if I'm thinking like that, must mean there are loads of people thinking like that. I don't think I agree with Matt, I don't think it's too broad. I don't think casual audiences are going, oh, that's on PlayStation. Spider-Man's on there, because I haven't had an ad. There's no ad right now out there. It's like Spider-Man comes swinging through, and it's like only on PlayStation. But it feels weird. Keep talking, because I think my door just went.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing, right? To be like, I think these sort of hardcore gamers probably would look at that missing content if we're going to call that marketing, which I think it is.
Yeah.
Look at that missing content. That's a way it could definitely negatively impact the sales of the game. Because you're right. If you don't have a PlayStation and an Xbox, and Spider-Man matters to you, well, then you're probably just going to say, actually, I'm not going to bother with Avengers, right? Like, if I'm not getting the full ride of this game, then what is the point?
But even then, I feel like a lot of people who are sort of in that mind state still bought it and just complained that they weren't getting the character. I think what it does is it affects Microsoft or Sony more negatively than it does the actual person releasing the game. It'll affect, it didn't affect Square Enix as much as it affected the platforms that the game was on. Because I think Square Enix, I think Avengers sold what Avengers was going to sell no matter what at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's a hard one, right? Because I definitely have seen casual audiences. My friend Mickey, I always use him as my example because he's my most casual gaming buddy. That he if he saw an advert of a game, let's say FIFA, for instance, right? Like, he used to think it was just on that console. And I was like, oh, that's so smart. And even to a degree, Haley does it sometimes when we go to the cinema, and I've spoken about that on the show before, where I'm like, she sees the PlayStation logo and she's booing. And I'm like, we own PlayStations. Like, what the hell are you booing for? And she's like, no, we want it on Xbox. Show me the Xbox ad. And she's like, is that on Xbox? So if someone is like as in the know as her, and if we're in the top 1%, I put her in the top 10%, then
sure.
You know, like she knows her stuff because of just being around me and coming to the conventions and stuff. But yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I think from an Xbox's point of view, yes, it negatively impacts their games that are on multi-platform. Something like Minecraft Dungeons, something like Psychonauts, something like, I'm trying to think of another game now. The Outer Worlds. Did they have the marketing for that? I don't think they did.
I don't remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah, but those type, you know what I'm trying to get at, though.
Yeah.
The games that are in this weird period right now where they are marketed everywhere. Sirens on my end. I've turned my NVIDIA broadcast off. I apologize. It's where the marketing's everywhere, or the game, sorry, is everywhere, but the marketing's so heavy on being in Game Pass. I don't think it's necessarily a conversation of Sal to Sal. I think it's a Sal versus a Game Pass conversation more than
Yeah,
you're right. It is now 100%. I can't think of a game that's been heavily marketed as Xbox that now wasn't coming to Game Pass day one in the past 6, 7, 8 months, right? Like
longer than that.
Yeah, probably. That's just the way it is now. And so yeah, you're right. Like, to negatively impact sales is an interesting way of framing this, when you're right, they're not trying to sell the game anymore. No. Like, they don't really care. They're just trying to get your subscription or trying to retain your subscription.
Well, I think it's the chance of the retention, right? And that's what that's what they're after more. It's the people that forget about their cards being on the system. It's not just that. We talk about that a lot, but it's not just that. They want people to enjoy the service and want to keep subscribing. But yeah, it's
also a good portion of people who do get Game Pass and get games through Game Pass as well go through to buy the games as well. I think that's an important thing to note as well, is that service opens up the door for them to maybe sell more copies than they normally would have. Because that's, if you look at it, for some people, it's like a whole library full of demos I can try out now with no time limit to them.
Yeah. I think that's the part I hate most about Game Pass, is not knowing when they're going to leave. I kind of wish, I know they legally they might not be able to do it and stuff, but I kind of wish when that deal gets signed, when that deal is inked, I kind of wish it goes in Game Pass and then a little tab says leaving Game Pass in 2023. Just so I know in the back of my mind, like, I have to play this game now. Like, I need to get it done now. And instead of just the blog post, and it's like, it usually gives you about 2 weeks, give or take, right? But it's like, I don't have time to play this game right now, and I've really wanted to play it. And I wish that was something they would add. But yeah.
Have you got an example of like something that's left that you were like gutted that it left?
Dead Rising.
What?
Dead Rising was in there for a while. I think 2. And it went on sale. It goes on sale all the time, but it went on sale as well while it was in there. And I was like, should I buy it? No, I don't need it again. But it's just, that game's like one of those comfort food games for me, where
100%.
I just want to sometimes run around and put cones on zombies' heads. you know?
Yep.
And the more and more I
100%.
think about it now, I'm like, yeah, I should probably just go and buy Dead Rising 1, 2, and Off the Record, and just play those games again. Oh man, I should play Dead Rising 3 again as well. I like those games. I really do like those games.
The
Don't even
newest
say
one,
it.
especially, right?
See, I knew you were gonna go there. I hate you so much, bro. Do you remember when I got that? Do you remember me
Yeah,
streaming
you were
that?
so disappointed.
I was
Yeah,
so
you were
heartbroken.
he was broken. He was broken by that game.
That was a Xbox One launch title, right?
No, three wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Three wasn't great, but
It's
three
been one
wasn't
since
bad.
that?
Four, which is all based around Christmas, and they bring
Yeah.
back fake Frank West and blah 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 blah, and it's and I even. But do you remember when I bought the DLC for it as well, Crash?
Yeah.
And I'm there
to
playing
get the
it, and
actual ending
to
to the
get the
game.
real ending. I was fuming. I was so angry, But yeah, bro. It's weird. Did we answer the question? I don't know if we did or not. No,
I think we-
is my. I think we all come down on no. It doesn't really negatively impact the sales. But yeah, Game Pass is a big problem for this conversation.
Game Pass isn't a problem. Don't you dare say that.
For this
solution
conversation.
fix.
For this conversation. Lewis, thank you very much for your question. Let's jump into Fix the Stat. We've got a couple more questions. The first one coming from Alder Slayer, who says, 2 questions this week, you lucky folk. Number 1, will Xbox ever remove old, unused accounts to the free upgrade gamer tag? Some random guy has Elder Slayer on Xbox who hasn't been online for 14 years and has played 3 games. It makes me so sad. If I try to get Elder Slayer, it adds loads of numbers on the end. Nah, Elder Slayer, you think you've got it bad. I don't have MC Fixer, and let me tell you, it is the biggest problem ever. And I messaged the kid at least. He might not be a kid. I messaged the guy at least once every 6 months. Just, how much for the gamer tag? How much? He doesn't even respond to me. And that's what hurts the most.
Is the I can't think of. Is the
Just
legitimate MC Fixer, the real MC Fixer, the MC Fixer that isn't you, are they at least active? Can you see their games?
Yeah. I've added them as a friend so I can see when they go online. They don't play much. They play Minecraft a lot. So that's why I assume it's Minecraft Fixer. It's actually the Minecraft Fixer that we've all been talking about.
It's real.
And
I mean, so go on.
No, I was just going to say, it happened to me the other day as well. I signed into, this is a crazy one, signed into Roblox the other day because I've added a Squid Game. They've got that Squid Game in there.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that might make a cool video for my second channel, blah, 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 blah. And I tried to log in, MC Fixer, taken. I am MC Fixer, taken. The real MC Fixer, taken. I'm like, who the hell am I then? These kids are MC Fixer. I'm just a mere mortal in their world. Like, it's crazy.
Maybe they just look up
Absolutely
to
crazy.
Fix.
I mean, I don't think they even know I exist, unfortunately. If I did, I'd be rich by now.
That is a frustrating thing, right? Like Elder Slayer saying this guy hasn't been online for 14 years. Like, give up the gamer tag.
They do get rid of people who don't use the gamer tags because that's how I got Crush. Because Crush was taken.
Right.
They make them available every once in a while. But the thing is, I don't know how more often they're going to do it with them adding the numbers to the end where you can technically get any gamer tag you want. And I don't think the numbers are actually like that bad. My problem is whenever you see the name, the numbers are attached to it. If the numbers were like a back end thing where you as the user or like you could use that to look up codes because like BattleNet does the same thing. There's a few other services that do the same thing where it's not an issue. But then the way Xbox does it is pretty atrocious. I'm gonna be honest.
It's one of those things where like every day I think about, I want to change my gamer tag. I've wanted to change my gamer tag for ages, and I'm just like, but do I want to change it to be not MC Fixer? And like, do I want to be MC Fixer hashtag 2793245? No, I do not want to be that person. Under no circumstances do I want to be that person. And it's frustrating, and I'm with you, Slayer. I can, as someone who does this for a living and needs the damn thing, trust me. It was even like New World, and I know New World's not on Xbox, so don't come for me. But it was even that where I was getting ready to name my character, and then someone in my chat was like, you might want to grab MC Fixer because you will be the only MC Fixer in the whole server. And I'm like,
yeah, it's
that's
not
like
just
across all the servers,
the
the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be fair, New World does it in a really weird way where most games don't work that way. Most games, like per server, you have your own a name that can be taken per server. With New World, it was taken across the board, which is such an odd move.
But I got it, so that's all that matters, Crush. That's all that matters.
Sure.
So when will
Happy
they
days.
change that? They already kind of do it, and I think they've already, I agree with Crush on this one, where they've already put something in place to allow you to be Elder Slayer, though you may not want to be Elder Slayer with the hashtag. They have fixed the problem here, unfortunately. Yeah. You don't like the fix, but it's already been fixed, which sucks. We all agree. Well, me and Crush agree. Well, no.
I agree.
I don't know. Who agrees.
I got my
At this
video.
point, I
I'm
don't know
good.
who
I don't
agrees.
know what I'm agreeing to here.
Shut up, Chris. You agree. You called me boss man. Remember
Yes,
that.
boss.
But yeah, it's a whack system. I don't like the hashtags. Change it back, please. Next question Elder Slayer has, which is, now that we've had a year or so of ray tracing on console/PC, do you think it is a graphical feature that has really improved fidelity? Or is it just a very demanding gimmick that isn't worth the hype? Oh, this is a great question. Matt, do you have anything to go off the dome on this one, or?
Sure, yeah, it's not as impressive as I was thinking it would be. Like, it is impressive, but like moment to moment gameplay, you don't see it. Now, do I think I will be blown away by Forza on my Series X? I am very much hoping so. Crash is mad. You can go for it, Crash.
Your energy there is so off because you're saying it's not impactful. Then you're saying I'm gonna play Forza. So what you're saying, what you want to say, is that developers haven't utilized it properly.
Sure. Okay, we'll go with that. Look, I was very impressed with some of it very early on when I got my PS5 and Xbox. But most games kind of are either performance or fidelity, right? No, fidelity or performance. Yeah, that's right. And I will always pick 60 frames over ray tracing. If that's the option you can give me, which it seems like most games are, I'm always picking 60 frames. And so
You're changing the question.
Well, no, am I?
Well, I think so,
he's
because the
asking
question
as
is it underwhelming? You don't even use the feature, so how can you say it's underwhelming?
Well, I have used the feature, and I've
You
decided
think
it's
it's
not
underwhelming. So you think ray tracing is underwhelming? Because the question's pretty clear cut there, Matt.
I love the
back to me
fact
at the
it's not
end.
me. I love the fact it's
Okay.
not me pushing back
Come
on
back to me
this.
at the end.
You can call Crash a bullet from now on, everyone. Do not come for my head anymore, okay? For me, I think it's remarkable, if I'm being totally honest with you. I've seen a noticeable difference in games that have ray tracing via games that do not have ray tracing. And Crash is actually someone that put me onto like lighting. Like, he's very specifically used to say to me, like, this game doesn't look bad, the lighting's bad. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I couldn't compute what he was saying until the new consoles came out, and you're like, oh, this game doesn't have ray tracing, this game does have ray tracing, and it makes a game look entirely different. I will sit here and say I'm very privileged and lucky that, again, big PC, sometimes I get to play on that. I have a 144 hertz monitor, I have a 4K monitor. Like, I can also utilize, and all of these are good 4K and have good HDR and stuff. Like, so, not, again, I'm not trying to, it's not a brag thing, I'm just saying I know I'm in a privileged position where I'm also able to get the most out of some of these video games where some people aren't. Anytime I've seen a game use it, I think it looks amazing. I had a chance to check out Far Cry without ray tracing compared to Far Cry with ray tracing, and it's night and day differences. Like, in my opinion, I think it really is, and the ray tracing really adds to the beauty of that world. So I don't think it's. I can see why some people would be like, "Yo, just give me 60 frames." Like, I don't need this. This isn't important. This doesn't do anything for my gameplay experience. But as someone who is moving more away from Twitch-based shooters, let's say, and is starting to play more single-player games, I want to be embodied and engrossed in that world to the best of my ability, and ray tracing adds to that in such a high way.
Yeah, ray tracing is kind of in this unfortunate spot where it's either a lot of studios will view it as we're either going to give you ray tracing or 4K with the 60 frames per second. You're not going to get both. And most studios make the call, which I think is the right call for them, to do the 4K because it's the buzzword. It's the one that'll get you more clicks. It's the one that people will be more impressed with, even if it isn't as impressive. Like I personally would rather take the 1440 and ray tracing because I think ray tracing does that much to make a world look more alive and invest you into it, especially in a single player game, right? Multiplayer game, I don't think it's as important at all. But I do think it is this case of next gen. Hopefully we see 4K and ray tracing, right? We're already thinking to the future.
Just you. I'm not thinking, no way. I can't compute where I'm at right now. So just you.
Because this gen really promised 4K. That was the big thing with this gen. It wasn't necessarily the ray tracing. The ray tracing was mentioned here and there, but the thing everybody looked forward to was the 4K. So is ray tracing a gimmick? To a degree, I think, because not a lot of games utilize it. You could for sure view it that way, but I don't think it's a gimmick. I think
using the word gimmick to me is like the Nintendo Wii steering wheel, and it's I hate to say it, and we all loved it, but it's Connect, and it's those words we use gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think a piece of software is put into R that makes things look better. I don't think you can arguably tell me excuse me, I don't think you can arguably tell me that there is bad ray tracing, but 99% of the people that do it usually pretty good to great.
Yeah.
So it only really adds to the game, where I think the other things I mentioned are like, hey, Xbox, turn off. Like, that's a gimmick. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you guys said. I just don't think I've been properly blown away by it yet. Like I guess just in the moment-to-moment gameplay, I never find myself being wowed by it, like taken aback by the ray tracing in this area. And yeah,
puddles, baby. Puddles are
like,
mad.
Where? What? Give me a specific puddle.
Gears 5.
Show me a puddle. Gears 5 has good ray tracing puddles?
I believe so. I believe that was the first game I played with my Series X. So they were very. I'm pretty sure they put the update out for it, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure that was one of the first things they were like, play Gears. And I was like, why don't we play Gears so bad? And Gears already looks amazing, but then you play it again and you're like, oh yeah, this does look good.
I think the really important thing to notice is with something like ray tracing, you might not necessarily notice it if it's done really well, but you notice it when a game has bad lighting.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. It's the same with audio. It's the same with editing in movies. Like, when it's done well, it's in the background and it enhances the experience and you don't think about it. As soon as you start noticing these things, it's almost done badly. Like, that is the moniker for done badly. And so, like, maybe the fact that I'm not noticing it as much as potentially I should be kind of just proves how sort of realistic these worlds are looking now. And you know, if I went back now and played Far Cry as an example on last gen, right? Like if I put Far Cry on Xbox One, and then switch over to Far Cry on the Series S or X, I would probably be blown away, right? Does it have ray tracing on the S?
I thought it didn't have ray tracing on the S.
It doesn't. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Does that have on console, period?
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting.
Yeah. But
it's one of those points where it comes down to a decision. Do we add ray tracing or do we just keep it 4K?
I think it's a thing that they also didn't want to stress over, and it'll be a thing they add later on, which will be, and the game now has ray tracing. This is the perfect time to pick up Far Cry 6. Take down blah, 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 blah. You know? Like, I feel like that's just one of the things they will add at some point.
I am genuinely... I mean, not really. But part of me is considering...
I am genuinely... Wait, no, not really.
No,
okay.
really.
I caught myself.
I respect
but no, but like I am like part of me is gutted then that my Series X comes on like November 15th, I think, and Forza's November 9th. And I'm like, can I hold out? Should I hold out?
No,
because
you shouldn't hold out. You're still going to be playing.
Yeah, but like I'm so looking forward to the visual fidelity of that game
But
specifically.
I think it's still going to look amazing.
I know it will. But deep down in my soul, I know I'm not going to get the most out of those 12K recorded skies.
No,
It's
I
gonna
disagree.
look good.
What?
It's gonna look good. You'll
On
be
the
fine.
S? 100%.
Right.
100%.
It's going to look great. I know it will. But I also know in a week's time, I'm going to see it better.
I think you'll be let down by the fact that you got to think it's a first-party Xbox game. They're going to make it look good on both consoles.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think waiting, you're going to notice that much of a difference and then not play when everyone else is playing. Like, nah, you're nuts.
That's fair. Yeah. That's why I said
I guarantee
genuinely
Matt would
and
be
then backtracked.
Matt says this, and then he's gonna be like, "I'm gonna hold off. I'm not gonna play." And the day it comes out, Matt's gonna be there at 12 a.m. Like,
Forza with
I'm
the
loading
boys.
the game up already.
I guess you're not
I
playing
caught
Forza with
myself.
the boys, I guess. My bad. All right, I guess not. Damn.
Ooh, that's a good.
Sucks to be you.
You
Next
started a
question.
movement and it's done already. Wow.
Next question. BT Maverick 707 has this to say. I am only here to replace both the co-hosts and will have to change my name to, and will have to change my name of the show to My Xbox and Corey's. So keep my seat warm. My question this week is, where is the AMD fidelity that is supposed to give a performance boost to next-gen consoles? I ask this because I don't like the option of choosing 30 FPS with ray tracing or 60 FPS without ray tracing. Is it really next-gen consoles if you can't do 4K ray tracing at 60 FPS. Also, I want to give a shout out to the love of my life, Ashley, my It Takes Two partner in crime, Corey, the gaming butcher potato. Shout out, Corey. Shout out to your lovely wife or girlfriend, Ashley. Shout out. We all need a good It Takes Two partner, let me tell you.
100%. And what a great question to piggyback off of our last question.
100%. Crash, you're probably my go-to guy on this one, just because I don't know the ins and outs of all the technical
Matt read an
stuff.
article on this. I'll let Matt take over.
Oh, perfect.
I read an article on this. I thought you said wrote then. I was like, I definitely did not write the article. There was an article on Tom's Guide, but it's from April 2021, and yeah, it's talking about AMD. I can't remember what they called it now, but they have like a package basically of software upgrades, add-ons that are going to make next-gen consoles, supposedly, and more specifically PCs, basically more efficient at running games and therefore higher fidelity. And one of the things they specifically mention is this AMD fidelity, which they're hoping to bring to Xbox, that should allow for this, right? A lot of the stuff in that package is competitors to NVIDIA's DLSS and stuff like that, right? So it's all about just making stuff more efficient so that it can run at higher fidelity. A lot of the features won't be coming to console, but they specifically said when they announced this way back when that they were hoping to bring it to Xbox Series X and S, and they've been radio silent ever since.
So soon. We hope.
That is what I'm hearing. That is what I'm hearing. Yeah,
Soon,
it's
we
one of
hope?
those things,
Question
right?
mark?
Exactly. It's one of those things that would be incredible. Who knows how many issues they've had trying to actually implement it. Also, AMD have had a lot of other issues with pandemic stuff, right? And supply chain and da-da-da-da-da. And so, you know, how many of those resources that were on one thing all of a sudden got moved to another thing because this past year and a half has just been a complete nightmare. But yeah, I mean, look, it all sounds like upside, right? Why not? Let's keep our fingers crossed. But I also wouldn't hold your breath that it'll come anytime soon.
I mean, that sounds like a whole lot of nothingness, I gotta say. I
mean, Corey's kind of right. Like the you know, we just talked about it. Is it really next gen if we don't get ray tracing 4K 60 frames?
yes.
It is.
Just so you're
because
aware.
that was never the promise.
just so we're aware, better load times, a few other quick resume. There's definitely yes. The answer is yes. It's still next gen.
Also, the capability to do any one of those was really what they sold. They didn't sell the capability to do all three of those at once.
Fact.
But didn't the PS5 ship with 8K written on the front of it? And it's like, Can you though?
Crash.
They can do 8K movies,
Crash.
I think. Yeah.
Crash.
This is also as in my PlayStation.
I'm calling them
meme.
out for bullshitting
Crash.
on the box.
This fucking guy.
Oh, so you're being
every
negative?
week.
You're being negative on this
You being
podcast?
negative on the podcast? How fucking dare
I thought we
you,
were talking about being more
man.
positive. This is crazy.
You're fired, bro. Like, geez, you're being negative on the show? Damn. I'm done. No, don't. You got headphones in. Come back. Let's jump into what's been in our box, boys. Crash, we'll start with you. What you been playing?
Played the new Demon Slayer game
Oh,
based off of the anime.
from Sega.
It is. Yes, I believe it's from Sega. Yeah. It's made by
Oh, Fire
CyberConnect
Crash.
2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, go on.
What were you gonna say?
You just went, it is, and paused a lot, and I wanted me and Fix to guess which adjective you were going to use.
An adjective is a doing word. I want you all to know that.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay.
what?
Okay.
An adjective is a doing word.
No.
An adjective. You just taking the
It's
mick out of the
a-
way I said
it's
it,
a-
or
No, that
An
was me just
adjective
having a bit of a
is-
mini stroke midway through speaking.
cool.
Look, I don't want to butcher grammar here because I don't think any of us are proficient.
Is that
in
not
it
right?
To a high degree.
Adjective.
An adjective? No,
Yeah.
isn't that a descriptive?
It's a
Fuck,
descriptive
you're
word.
right. See, this is the problem when you date a teacher because you come home and you hear about all these different words and you're like, I don't need to know this information. I don't need to go to school anymore. And she's like, yeah, but you're a dum-dum. And I'm like, but that doesn't matter because people on the internet seem to enjoy me being a dum-dum. And I've made a career out of it thus far.
I'm gonna be 100% honest, Fix. When you said what you said about an adjective, I was like, "Am I wrong about it?"
Nah, you're
Is
right.
that
No,
not
no,
correct,
no.
Fix?
You was
Because I
100%
don't wanna
right. I just wanted to fuck
Yeah.
about.
Anyway, I sidetracked us heavily there. I apologize. Crash. How was the game?
10 minutes
made by
about
CyberConnect
adjectives.
2.
Let's go.
Let's go. It's so that they have a story mode that's basically retelling of the anime, and that for the most part is actually pretty dull because they sort of add a whole bunch of trivial stuff that essentially feels like fetch quests. Like they have a whole bunch of exclamation marks on the map that you have to go to, and you essentially talk to somebody for 2 lines of dialogue that don't really add to the game or the experience, and there's a lot of that. But it has really fun boss fights. I think the boss fights and the fighting mechanics in the game are really the highlight of the game, but I don't think it's enough of a highlight to really take away from everything else. The game does. I think it's a decent game.
You gonna play it, Fix?
No. Shit.
Never.
What one of the words that just came out of Crash's mouth sounded like MC Fixer type game?
Exclamation marks.
That's it. That's literally it.
Love a good exclamation mark. That
no,
should be topic
not-
of the show next week. The
not-
best
not-
in-game exclamation mark.
Jeez, Assassin's Creed. No, not for me. Not for me. Crash, you don't sound too hot on it, if we're being honest.
Yeah, so I'm not. I was a little disappointed. It's made by CyberConnect 2. They made the Naruto games, and those games are super solid. They're like, as far as games based off existing anime IP, I feel like those are probably the best, if not some of the best. And to see them go from that to then making Dragon Ball Kakarot, which I wasn't a huge fan of, to then making this, it's just sort of like 2 misses back to back. I am hopeful that if they do make another Demon Slayer game, it's better, but it's one of those things like can't judge based off what they might do in the future, just based off what they did here.
So
Boss fights are fun.
Have you finished it? Will you finish it?
I think I'm chapter 4, so there's another 4 chapters. I mean, worst case, I might just skip all the cutscenes and just do the boss fights because I already know what happens in the game.
That's a good point.
Which isn't talking very fondly of the game, mind you,
No.
but that might be something that I do with the game.
Man.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Anything else you've been playing?
No, that's pretty much it.
I want to apologize everyone for my voice tone. My voice is going up and down and left and right. I've got a bad throat. I'm not very well, so apologies to everyone listening. Matt, what have you been playing this week, my dude?
I have put a little bit more time into Life is Strange True Colors.
Oh.
And I'm very much enjoying it.
Does it get better? Because I haven't played. I haven't
Sorry,
played.
go on.
I got to the kid in the as they're going up to the kid.
We are at the exact same point, my friend.
Bro, that takes like 2 hours to get there.
It does, if you don't spend a crazy amount of time playing on an arcade machine in a bar that you don't have to do.
Okay. So we're up to the exact same point then.
It sounds like it, yeah.
And you love the game, and I wasn't hot on the game.
I wouldn't say I love it.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I love
it. Apologize. Okay.
I am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to jumping back in. This is like me and my girlfriend's date night game, right?
Yeah.
Like instead of watching a series, we're gonna throw Life is Strange on and play an hour. And so yeah, we're playing it very slowly and ad hoc, and yeah.
That's kind of where I was at with it. Like it's
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not bad. It's not broken. It's not terrible. But it's fine.
I kind of want to reserve judgment until the end of chapter 1, because the other two series, both end of chapter 1, that's the hook. Like something will happen. That's the hook, right? And yeah, the superpowers in this are like kind of dull. Yeah. But I like the characters. Like I like the people we're meeting in like the town and like the idea, and so like I'm along for the ride.
Do you know what I think I might do? Haley is off for 2 weeks. Christ.
Shocker. Shocker. No one's surprised.
Chris does this thing with my fiance. Well, I'll say that Haley's off, and Chris is like, bro, does she ever go to work? Like, it's like, that's just
I also randomly make jokes about Haley not being at work and having off, and he's like, yeah, no, she's off now.
But Haley's off for 2 weeks from tomorrow. And we were going to try and book a holiday, but she's very much against that, where I'm very much for it. I'm like, let's just go to Greece, you know? Fuck it.
Do it.
Let's just
jump on a plane.
That's what I'm saying. And she's like, absolutely not. Under no circumstances are we going to Greece. So what I might do is just restart Life is Strange. I got that and It Takes Two. And I know I need to beat both of those damn games in these 2 weeks. Have to.
It Takes Two.
So I might just start again and fully experience it again with her, because maybe it'll connect a bit better.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you guys at all started looking at your Game of the Year list?
I kind of like in the back of my mind, I haven't started like writing anything down or like actually thinking about it.
Like, no,
I can't think of anything more straight. When I tell you, like, generally, I am so fucking stressed in my life right now because of all of the fun and cool stuff I get to do. I'm not like, this isn't a woe is me thing, but I was trying to explain this to chat today. Like, going to the thing yesterday put me like 3 days behind on other things that I needed to do.
I feel that.
And I'm like, and there's no, and people, the other thing that I don't like is people assume because you're backstage at a KSI concert that like you've got money all of a sudden. No, I'm still broke as fuck. Like, so it's like this, I'm in this very, 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 very weird space right now where one day I'm going to do a TV show, then I come home and need to go, I don't know if people understand what Universal Credit is over in the UK, but then I've got to go to a Universal Credit meeting because that's who I set up my business through and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm in the mix of 2 different worlds at the moment where like, it's so weird. It's so fucking weird. I can't wait until someone interviews me for a podcast or something. It's like, so how's your life been? And I'm going to be like, I'm the most confused human being I've ever been in my life. And Game of the Year, I was thinking about it the other day where I was like, fudge, I've got 2 months to beat a lot of video games that I am yet to beat.
Is that the rule then? You have to beat it?
Absolutely. You have to roll credits.
Always been fixes, really. Yeah, you have to
roll.
You have to for it to because how can it make your top 10? Look, it's like, okay, so like battle royale games, you have to win 1 match. Like FIFA, you need to play a full sports games. You need to play a full match. You consider it beaten.
They're not going to end up in my list.
No, but I'm just to give a little bit of context. We got new listeners, but yeah, I think
Forza, for example,
win a race.
Oh well, yeah, fine, okay.
No, but what I'm saying is that because I feel like you need to
experience what the game is about.
You have to experience what the game is, and yes, I know what you're saying, but Fixer, that could be done. You could have easier played 10 hours of Far Cry, and known what Far Cry is.
Yes.
Yeah. But you don't know the story, you don't know the ending, and I don't think it's fair for that to make. How can that make your Game of the Year list if you couldn't even bother to make it to the end of it? We're not talking about bad games here. We're
Is you
talking about
somebody
good
who has a
games.
chronic issue with switching between games and you stop playing games at 15 hours?
Bro, Chris, you are the world's worst for it. You've got better though.
Oh,
This year
horrible.
you've got a lot
I've
better.
I have my list figured out for the most part. I went through the other day and I was like, these are the upcoming games. These are the games I've beaten. These are the games that are probably gonna make it. I'm good. I'm good this year.
You're prepared.
I'm solid.
It's us two that are terrible. But this year I want to do something a little bit different, like we were saying. We want to get the audience. We've had a lot more audience participation in the My Xbox and Me community, more than we have ever in our 5 years of existence. So I'm hoping we can get you guys to shoot. I know it's hard for some people that don't like cameras and stuff, but I'd really love it if we could get you guys to like a 10-second clip of like, hey, I'm blah, 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 and this is my game of the year. And us then take those into account for... It's a whole thing. We're going to have a meeting about it relatively soonish and figure it all out. But yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's handy that you mentioned Game of the Year, though, because... And my argument would be this would already be in my list, and I haven't finished it. I've started playing The Artful Escape, which is on Game Pass.
Ooh.
Which is budging weird and brilliant in the best way. I don't even know what the game is really. There's no real gameplay loop. It's bizarre, but it's pretty cool.
I remember
and
this
pretty
game.
neat.
I'm just looking at images of it now. This is that weird.
It's like Broken Age meets Sonic the Hedgehog meets. Yeah, I don't know. It's just cool. I just like it.
Fair enough.
I like what it's going for.
Fair enough. What have I played this week? I haven't played much because I haven't been home much this week, just because I've been here and everywhere. Played a lot of FIFA. Started a career mode with FIFA. I've made a creator club, so I am Mushu Athletic.
Love it.
Is the name of my team. We are currently in League 2. We've played about 7 games. It's a mixed bag. We haven't won every game. We're getting there. We're getting there. Our star player is Humphrey. We've been offered £10 million for him, but I turned it down. And chat wasn't happy, let me tell you. Like, 10 million, you've got to take it. I was like, hell no, we're keeping him. We're keeping him. But yeah, other than that, I played a bit of NBA as well. And then the big game that came out this week that I assume everybody in the world would have thought would have been playing is obviously Back for Blood, and I haven't touched it yet. I've unfortunately hit a really bad point where I've got no one to play it with. Every time I log on and I'm like, who's about? Nobody's about. So, and I really don't want to play that game single player. Like, the single player isn't good. Lacks all sense of progression, unfortunately. And I'm just a bit like, I really want to play this game, but I have no one to play it with. I was meant to play it yesterday with Cassie, and she was on front page. She's like, Fix, do you want to play with me? I'm like, yes. And then I got the message to go to KSI. I was like, I can't, I've got to work, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's just worked out that I've not had any. It's not like I've been waiting for 4 people. I've just been waiting for 1 person to play the bloody game with, and I just haven't had that luxury at this point, which sucks. But yeah,
I've downloaded it.
Boys.
Oh, Back for Blood with the boys?
Fix is so not with it.
no, I'm good.
I knew Fix would be with it. I just thought I'd throw it out there. See if it sticks.
I don't like this for the boys thing sticking. Let's just leave it for Halo, all right?
Hashtag with the boys could be... It could be our brand, guys.
I don't like it.
But it's a very exclusionary brand.
I think
it is a very exclusionary brand.
I was about to say, it excludes a big group of people.
True.
But, hey, we are sitting in this room right now. We are all boys. So that is where it comes from. It's not about being... It's not about being... excluding anybody. Anybody is welcome to play Halo with the boys, let me tell you. Doesn't matter, but yeah.
In my head, the boys is a non-gender specific term. The boys is just the gang.
Me too. But
yeah.
Twitter will come for us. You know they will.
That's true.
Twitter will come for us. But yeah, that's kind of it for this week on what's been in our box, unfortunately. Let's jump into the news and get ourselves out of here. This is one that came up just before we went live, actually, that I think we all disagree on. Saints Row's first raw gameplay footage has been revealed. This one was taken by Pure Xbox, and the video is actually over on Game Informer's. Yeah, Game Informer has the first look of the footage. Crash, let's start with you, I guess, because you was the most outspoken of it looks. Well, you and Matt both, I think, agree, but we'll find out in a second. What don't you like about the look of the gameplay?
It doesn't impress me. It doesn't look good.
Well, but
it's just the whole look. I can't. You're asking me for a specific thing. I just look at the gameplay and I don't. It's not something I look at. I'm like, I want to play that game.
It looks like Saints Row.
Maybe, sure. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just telling you, I saw this game and I'm like, I don't want to play this.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
To be fair, for me, Saints Row, like the game as a whole is what really drew me in with Saints Row 2, especially is the game as a whole. So maybe once it's like, this is how you're growing out your gang, et cetera, these are how you do the missions and whatever. Maybe that's where the game will pull me in, but just seeing like raw gameplay, I'm just like, nope, don't need to play this.
Matt?
Well, there's a few things, right? So, firstly, I think it's a weird video to release. It's not like... It's mostly just walking and driving around, right? There's no, like, Saints Row combat and craziness and wackiness, and, you know, you don't get a feel for the tone of the game, right? Other than that sort of iconic... like sort of jumping in the car, like 2-foot slide tackle into the car that it kicks off with. And so, yeah, I'm kind of with Crash of just like watching this and just going like, yeah.
Huh. It looks exactly how I thought it would look, and I'm excited for it. Not that I agree with you in the fact of it's kind of a weird video to put out, but I do think it shows the world off a little bit more than what we've seen, obviously. I think it's a weird one where I could be totally getting this wrong, but it looks more like Saints Row 3 and 4 gameplay-wise more than it does 1 and 2, which is a shame, just because I enjoyed Saints Row 1 and 2 way more than I enjoyed 3 and 4. But 3's a good game as well. I did enjoy 3. I just don't know what you were both expecting. I know it's a reboot and stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks graphically nice for a Saints Row game. But I just think were you both expecting something to be drastically different?
To be fair, I don't think I was really expecting anything. I think it's more so the shock of seeing it and being like, oh yeah, this is Saints Row, and not, because the thing is, like, this is the perfect example of why, like, how everybody argues when you see an E3 thing and they're like, that's just a scripted thing. There's a very purposeful reason why it feels scripted, is because they want to show you the best example of the game, as opposed to this, where it's just like, here's the game. This is a completely unscripted segment. You take of it what you will, you'll enjoy it or you won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think more so the thing that's kind of turned me off this is what they presented, right? Which is just look at the world. Like the gameplay, very little bits of gameplay that we saw that were more chaotic and shooting and da-da-da. That's what I expect from Saints Row, right? And that's what I want to see from a Saints Row. If this had just been like one action set piece, one story mission, probably be way more positive on it, right? It's not like I'm looking at this and can't imagine the game that I want it to be. Probably can, right? But this showing is just like, it's pretty. And it's like, yeah, I guess. But do I need Saints Row to even be pretty? Is it that pretty? Is that our new thing now, is it?
That's our new review. Okay.
How many S out of 10?
Out of 10. Cool. Interesting. I mean, I'm glad we disagree, I guess. I'm looking forward to playing the game. And this doesn't add to any of my hype, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
I am now looking forward to seeing more. Like, show me better than that. Like,
I don't
think it gets
the bar.
I don't think it gets better than that though. It's that is.
I think what Matt wants is he wants like a segment of actual gameplay as opposed to people going around and doing random stuff.
But we know what the gameplay is going to be. It's not going to have changed.
But it's different when you actually see it for like, this is the new game and this is the gameplay, as opposed to like, I know what it's going to be in the back of my head. But until I see that and have that confirmed, especially with a reboot, like I have like no opinions, you know.
Especially because, and I should have said this at the start of the conversation. I've never really been a big Saints Row guy. Like I don't think I've ever finished one. I played probably a tiny bit of 2, a little bit of like a decent amount of 3, and like dropped off of 4 quick. So
that's fine.
Like yeah, right. But like I'm not like a big Saints Row guy, and so like yeah, I don't really necessarily look at those tiny snippets of gameplay or this and like know really what to expect from this game. And so
you're gonna take over gangs. You're gonna buy food from the shops. There's gonna be a couple of clothes shops.
See, already more excited about it.
You're gonna drive fast and buy cars, and it's gonna give you little points in the corner for driving near a car and going really, really fast. It's more.
That sounds awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, I want to see all that. I don't want to see some dude walking around the city.
It was just a tone piece to show you the world. All right.
I guess.
Next story, ArenaNet. Undead Labs founder Jeff Strain announced this new studio called Possibility Space. What you need to know, this is on Windows Central. Jeff Strain, the founder of ArenaNet and Undead Labs. Strain is opening a new studio called Possibility Space. Am I saying that right? Possibility? Yeah, I am. Based in Louisiana, while supporting remote work. Possibility Space includes veterans from Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Oculus, and more. Congratulations to Jeff, obviously. It's a hard one, this one, because Undead Labs came out of absolute nowhere for me when State of Decay 1 dropped, and it was so different from any video game we had played in the survival zombie world. I remember Ryan McCaffrey did I believe he had an IGN first on it, if I'm not mistaken. And I just fell in love with it. And I remember buying it off of his recommendation, and then like from then on, loved State of Decay. State of Decay 2 came, obviously. Didn't love it as much, unfortunately. It didn't quite take the necessary steps that I felt the genre should have made, considering it was bought by Microsoft as well. And then obviously you've got this new studio, which I guess it brings that same sort of level of excitement back again from a bunch of talent that have worked at really high-end studios. There's nothing better than hearing the word veteran to me in the video game space, because it in my head sets my expectations a little bit higher for a veteran studio more than a new group of people coming together. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
I will say that there is sort of a double-edged sword with veteran, because you have people who have made games for such a long time, and the medium is constantly evolving, that if there's a possibility that you do get like an outdated game or a game that doesn't fully feel modern right out the gate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think it comes down to just having veteran. To me, it doesn't always mean this right, by the way. It's just my thought process behind this. Is hopefully it means it has good leadership, because I feel like that is key when it comes to video games. It's not so much the new ideas and things like that. It's having someone at the top to say, that is a fantastic idea, we can't do it. And not feeling any type of way about saying that either.
Yeah, I feel like management, like with anything you're talking about, is always one of the most important things to make things run smoothly. Especially, we've seen a lot of the issues we've seen with game companies, especially, are just poor management, people not being able to say no, or people never saying yes to stuff that might actually improve a game, and all this stuff. It's just, you need good management. Hopefully you are right, and veteran does mean that.
Yeah, good luck.
Let me very quickly
please
don my tinfoil hat, which I should have had ready. No, all I was going to say is that it's notable here that at least some of the people have come over from Oculus, and potentially this could be a VR game.
Yeah, possibly. It depends. Look, we don't know. I don't know the exact ins and outs of who. It could be the narrative. It could be a writer from Oculus for all we bloody know.
Of course. It's like I say, tinfoil hat, super speculative on one line in that article. But it could be interesting.
one thing I will say is that I dislike about this is possibility space. Does that mean you're only making space games? I also thought like Undead Labs was a bad name for a studio because you're only ever going to make zombie games with a studio called Undead Labs. Like, I just don't.
I don't think possibility is a reference to space. I think possibility is a reference to area. So anything's possible within the area is how I took the name.
Oh, okay.
And I could be absolutely wrong with it.
We both took it different ways, so perfect.
And Crash's way could lead more into VR because you've only got.
I think that's
so
much.
I mean,
Space.
you know what, Crash?
Actually, now that you say that,
you know what, Crash? You got to give him credit where credit's due.
I was going to disagree at first.
The kid doesn't always come out with magic, but that's him for that.
You got to actually make a tinfoil hat.
I know. I was gutted as soon as we read this, and I was like, I'm going to say this. I was like, I so want to be able to just get a tinfoil hat.
Next piece of news, Resident Evil 7 becomes the first game in the series to ship 10 million copies. Congratulations to Capcom. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard has become the first game in the series to ship over 10 million copies, Capcom confirmed. Announced in a press release, Capcom says Resident Evil 7 has hit a new milestone for the company as it becomes the first game in the series to ship over 10 million units globally. It's worth pointing out that shipped copies are also sent to retailers as opposed to sold copies, which have been bought by players. But still a huge milestone for Resident Evil as a whole. Obviously, Resident Evil 7 was the big... it's a weird one because it was the big reboot. At the end of the day, it was changing. It was changing from what I love from the series into what you guys love to the series. And yeah, it's I'm very happy for them. I'm conflicted because I would have loved Resident Evil 2 to be the best-selling Resident Evil game to prove me right. But this is a great game nonetheless. So you've got to give credit where credit is due and just say congratulations to the game. So congrats.
They would have hit this mark a lot sooner had they remade Resident Evil Code Veronica fix.
They wouldn't have though. I wish, dude. Man. You know the scary thing? Is we may get a Code Veronica remake one day, and it's gonna sell so bad. So bad.
I think if they ever do a Code Veronica remake, I don't think they call it Code Veronica.
I agree. I think 4 might get mixed with Code Veronica.
I don't know the lore, so I don't know. I can't comment on that. But that would be interesting.
Just trust me, kids. Just trust me. Stick with me. I'll take you places.
You heard it here first. Leaked right now, live from
I
Fix.
didn't leak nothing. I don't know anything. I didn't leak anything. Trust me. I know nothing. But yeah, shout out to Capcom and keep making Resident Evil games. Keep making third-person Resident Evil games. All right.
I don't think they're stopping anytime soon.
Third person, not first person. Third.
Yeah,
person.
I
don't think third person they're stopping anytime soon either.
Why? What do you think is going to come?
Oh, they'll keep making stuff. We have 4 coming out. They'll make another third person one.
This is,
bro.
Resident Evil 0. They have the Billy game to make fixed. Don't ever forget that.
Oh,
they
you missed Billy. It. I reacted to the Resident Evil trailers for the film on the stream today, and let's just say it's a hodgepodge of. It looks like a Resident Evil fan has just threw up in a bowl and threw it at the screen and gone, let's have this reference and this and this and this and this and this. And I literally said while watching, I was like, fuck me, Billy's going to turn up in a minute. Like, we're just going to see Billy out of nowhere. Like, Billy and Rebecca just like, what about us?
I'm waiting for it.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah.
Did you watch the international trailer?
I did. I watched both the trailers.
Was the international one any better?
Both puke. Big piles of puke.
Disappointing. I heard the international one was better, and I was like, oh, maybe Fix didn't watch it.
It is better. No, it's better. It is better, but because I ain't got that dodgy, there's a dodgy song in yeah. No one cares about the film here, let's be honest. But I'll be sure to trash it on Twitter when I go and see it in cinema. I'll probably go and watch it 7 times to try and get all the references. But and just keep giving them my money. Just keep taking it. You know. Next up, another company that keeps taking my money. FIFA reportedly wants to FIFA reportedly wants to charge EA $1 billion every 4 years for the name. This was taken by IGN, which is we now have a clue to why EA Sport is considering changing the name of its FIFA, its giant football franchise. The New York Times reports there was a dispute between EA and developer of FIFA games, and FIFA, the worldwide football organization. Organization, full stop. The disagreement is reportedly over cost and new revenue streams. So yeah, to boil this one down to something that probably half of 1% if you probably care about hearing about, FIFA want 1 billion every 4 years to use the name FIFA, and EA are like, absolutely not, under no circumstances is this happening. This has nothing to do with the actual licensing of the players, the licenses of the teams, anything like that. That's all done through FIFA Pro, which I was being told by the viewers in chat today. I believe it was Elder Slayer actually who mentioned it. But yeah, it's one of them ones. Yeah, why wouldn't you change the name to save 1 billion? Yeah, I think you'll change the name.
Yeah. Do you think it affects FIFA at all?
Absolutely not.
The games?
Under no certain. No, it's as long as it's the same development team, as long as they've still got the players, as long as they've still got the licensing, as long as they still got Ultimate Team, as long as they still have a stronghold over the industry of football/soccer in video games, they're going to be fine.
You don't think it messes with the casual audience who might not necessarily know it's the same team?
No, because there's not going to be... Nobody's paying that. If EA are not paying them 1 billion, nobody's paying them 1 billion, right? So the pure fact is there's not going to be another FIFA football game out there to confuse the audience.
You sure Microsoft's going to come in and buy the license?
Bro,
put out a game called FIFA that's not even related to football.
It is anything. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody does step in and do that, it would be genius. But I don't think it's worth... EA have a stronghold on how to make money in a football game with Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
So even think about it from like Take-Two's perspective. Like imagine they grabbed a studio that could make a decent enough football game, right? That's all it would need to be with the name FIFA on it. It's decent enough, market it as this is FIFA. They still have the problem they don't have the license. That's the biggest problem. They don't have the license for the teams and the players. So what do you have? Nothing. Without that contract, which I believe EA have just renewed already, they have nothing. So EA, I think they'll end up coming to terms with a deal, honestly, on this, because I feel like FIFA are going to be like, well, we want 1 billion. How much are you willing to give us? 200 mil? I guess we'll take that, because there's no way no one's coming in with 1 billion.
Do you know what the deal is right now? How much they pay currently?
What, for the name?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah, no. But whatever it is, it's more than they deserve.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just the name. They're not doing anything. And don't get me wrong, I understand business, I understand all that. But when EA fuck up, we never go, FIFA, how dare you? We go, EA, how dare you?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
I wonder as well, I wonder how long the last contract that was signed was and how much it was to have the name FIFA, right? It could have been 10 years ago. And so now, all of a sudden, FIFA going, oh, contract's up. We can finally negotiate this. $1 billion for 4 years, knowing that it's not going to happen and that, you know, they're going to figure something else out.
I think that's why EA are like, what are you on, old man? It feels like very much what are you on? Like, we are not paying you. We're not paying you stupid money. We don't need you.
Yeah,
and as soon as you don't need anyone, it's the common courtesy call, isn't it? It's like, we'll give you this, and then going, no. And we're going, cool. Here is football 22, 23, football 29, 26. Whatever it is they want to call it, it's good. They're fine.
They have trademarked EA Sport FC.
Yep.
So that's looking like what it might be called.
Could be that. It could be that.
Could be that.
Next one. Disney teases a Star Wars video game announcement for December. Shocker. Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
Disney and Lucasfilm have teased a Star Wars video game announcement for December as part of its publishing campaign that will reveal new Star Wars products every Tuesday for the rest of the year. An announcement in an article on the official Star Wars website, the companies have launched their Bring Home the Bounty campaign, which will see a new Star Wars toy, collectible, book, apparel, and more revealed on a weekly basis from now until the end of December. Gotta be Game Awards, right, Matt?
Game Awards, Fallen Order 2, put it in and around me. I want it all.
I'm good with not playing another one. Yeah. As someone who played Fallen Order because I wanted to see what the hype was about and not a Star Wars guy and stuff like that, I enjoyed my time with it. But now I know what that game is, and like I don't need it. I don't need it at all.
I agree. I also don't need it. There's no way that it doesn't happen. Though.
No, 100% happening. Oh no, 100%,
yeah.
you're 100%.
No, we're in total agreement.
Yeah.
And actually, I would still be excited, but I would be, I think, equally excited for something else, like same team, different concept, different story. I don't know, whatever.
I'm just asking.
No, I know.
Do we need to see Star Wars anymore? You know, I think the franchise can go to sleep for a while.
Finally, something I can agree with, Fresh. Finally. I'm glad we're on the same
money.
wavelength.
I'm sure it prints money. There's no doubt about that.
Prints money.
Yeah, bro, if they're doing an announcement now to say they're going to announce a new toy or something every week, they're like, yep, money. Like people
make sure you pre-order the stuff we're putting out.
Yeah, if you want it, you better make sure. And go on, please.
I'm doing my classic where I just butt in at the end with more and more comments and keep us going forever. I was going to say, do you think Fallen Order 2 is a big enough close for the Game Awards?
Yeah, Star Wars. It's either an open or a close, all right?
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
I think it depends.
It depends on what else Jeff has.
Yeah. It'll definitely be a high point. I could see it being like somewhere in the dead in the middle when people don't expect it.
Beginning, middle, or end. It's one of those three. It's that palate cleanser after some band has been on and we're all falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then they go, bam, here's Star Wars, and everyone else on Twitter explodes. Or it's, let's kick off the show the right way with boom, Star Wars. Or one more thing, it's Star Wars. Actually, I can see it being any of the three.
After having this conversation, I think it's in the beginning or the middle. Just for the people who aren't watching it, they show Star Wars and goes all over Twitter, and they're like, we should really be watching the Game Awards right now. And they run over to the Game Awards to continue watching it.
That is a very good shout, Crash. You should organize these kind of things.
Yeah.
You should be the next Jeff Keighley.
No, I really shouldn't.
Have you seen him on a podcast once a week? I don't think he could host a whole Game Awards, I've got to say.
No, I absolutely couldn't. I'd stand up there and I'd be like, games showing. Goodbye.
Run the VO.
It'd be over in 20 minutes.
He won't survive 20 minutes. It'd be over in 10 seconds. It would come back to him and go, run the next one. Come back, run the next one. Run the next one. Like, just keep running them.
Just don't stop. And then I completely leave the stage. I'm nowhere to be found. They pan over to it. Just an empty stage.
Crash is in the corner just panting like, I need help. I didn't sign up for this. Help. Mad. Last news story this week before we leave you all. Marvel Avengers adds a paid XP boost and fans are in uproar. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have added the option to pay for XP and resources collection boosts using real money in Avengers. The move has been slated by many fans who believe it offers a stark contrast to previous statements made surrounding the game's monetization tactics. For those who missed this and don't understand the magnitude of this is pretty bad.
Yep.
This is pretty bad. This is pretty bad on a big level from Square. I'm going to put Square on this one. I'm not putting anybody else on this one. I'm putting Square on this one. This is bad. The pure fact of the matter is you came out and said that the only paid stuff in the game would be cosmetics. You then made it harder for people to grind XP to level up their characters. And we all saw it coming. Don't get it twisted. We all saw it coming. But some people out there gave you the benefit of that because your bullshit excuse of, oh yeah, people are progressing too fast. and becoming overwhelmed.
Such a bad.
People are coming overwhelmed,
so
Crash.
bad.
It's too far.
That's so bad.
And then, conveniently, you add this. It stinks. It stinks.
I will let you know. I uninstalled Avengers. I don't plan on launching it again. I do not plan on playing it again. I don't care about the raid. I don't care about what they add, because this is predatory, and not in a sense just for like new players. It's also predatory to the players who have already been there. That's really who it strikes. It really reminds me of the Darwin Project decision, where that game came out, charged everybody $20, and then like 2 weeks later they were like, the game's now free to play, and it's like you kind of screwed over everybody who really supported your game.
But we're giving you a founders pack.
Yeah, that just I could have played this game for free. The same thing happens here. I think it's incredibly gross to be predatory, not just to gamers in general. While you shouldn't be predatory to gamers in general. I'm not trying to say that you should, but to be predatory towards the people, the hardcore audience that were supporting you through a game that obviously didn't sell super well. You'd imagine the people who would think about getting a boost and are affected most by the XP increase are the people who want to play all the new characters, who are trying to max out all the characters and play consistently. So this is really unfortunate.
Bro, we've had that game is in my head. I hate to say it, that game is dead, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we had Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Black Panther.
Yeah.
3 characters. And the game died.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think with those 3 characters, like how many of those characters had like major content drops with them?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, this is a bad one. I'm not quite on Crash's level where I'll probably never play it again. Just because it does kind of well on Twitch when there's new content.
Right.
But yeah, from a consumer's point of view, I could see why people would just absolutely be like, hell no, I'm done. Hell no, never again. And yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks. It does suck.
It is kind of fascinating how easy it was to fumble the ball with a property like Marvel, with how ridiculously popular Marvel is right now. Like, to have cocked it up this bad is kind of astounding, right? Like, wow.
Yeah and no, because like the thing is, like, Avengers had so much to live up to at this point, especially when it is Avengers. It's not like a general Marvel property. Like, I think the Midnight game, I forget what it's called.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns is going to has the luxury of it not being an Avengers game. So you're not expecting Iron Man and Thor and all those characters. And this game came out and it gave you the most notable characters with one addition. And that addition was the best thing, because most people didn't have preconceived notions of how these characters should look and sound. And with Thor, people were like, well, Thor better play like God of War. And I think that's unrealistic to even look at the game and be like, this better play like God of War. Thor better play like Kratos.
I don't know if people really was saying that.
Yes, they was. Yes.
Yeah, everybody was saying that.
It doesn't feel the way the Leviathan ad hits your hand. That was what everyone says. When Thor's hammer comes back, it doesn't feel the same.
I think that's a bit silly. And I think from my experience with the game then, but my feelings towards it, I think you're right. Kamala Khan was like a standout for sure. But I really enjoyed the story content. Even Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, Black Panther I felt was a bit dull. And I didn't finish it, to be fair. So maybe that's harsh judgment. But
no, it's not.
Cool.
Yes, it is.
As a Marvel fan, like, I enjoyed the story, and I enjoyed the gameplay. Like, I enjoyed the way the characters felt. Like, Hulk was like my least favorite, but I know he's like other people's favorite, right? So like, they had something there with the gameplay and the story. The decision to hire the best and, let's face it, probably most expensive voiceover actors in the industry to be in this game bewilders me. Like all these weird decisions that have been made to double down on things that I don't think people were enjoying in this game, and like, are people really going to be more excited for a raid than better story content?
Problem is, story content is more expensive to make than raid.
Because you've hired the greatest voice actors.
No, I don't
world.
think it's just voice actors. I think it's
sure. That is
with the raid. You're thinking of like a controlled situation with mechanics. And if you're talking about story content, it's not just, well, we have to write these story bits, we have to produce these cutscenes. It's also, we have to add new worlds and new places, not worlds, new places for these expansions to take place in. Like if you look at the War for Wakanda, there's not a lot done. It feels more like a skin than anything else because all of that takes time and all of that takes money. And you have to remember this game is hemorrhaging money at this point. I don't know if hemorrhaging money is the correct term, but it's not necessarily making them money.
I think you've got to imagine they are close to hemorrhaging if they're willing to put this in, right? Like if they've made the call that this is the right call to try and get more money out of this game.
I mean, yeah, probably. But I think part of this decision is also they look at it like, well, it's on Game Pass now, and in some weird way, they're going to say it's free to play. It's not free to play, but it's free for a lot of people. We want to get money out of them now. We want to get some sort of income from them.
Next move is PS Plus, not PlayStation Plus. Sorry, PS Now
Collection. Oh, now.
Well, it was already on that. Is it not on that anymore?
Collection.
I'm sure they have.
I don't think they've added a single thing to that collection.
Okay. Never mind. You might be right.
Go on, Crash.
I don't know. It's irrelevant here.
Yeah, for me,
lost my train of thought.
For me, it's the question you said was like, how do they how do you it's bigger you are, the harder you fall, which is at the end of the day, like Crash said, the expectations for this game were through the roof, and like you said, then you put the voice actors, which are considered some of the best voice actors in video games, in the game, and you go, okay, well, if you give me good voice actors, I expect a good story, and I think you got an okay story. And the problem was it was so mixed up with 10,000 other ideas in with it, which it should have just been you are Kamala Khan. That is who you are. This is the story we're telling. You're going through your journey of meeting the Avengers and blah 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 and build boom. And then they didn't need to come out and say anything about this monetization stuff. And then it's like, oh, once you get to the end game is all the characters unlock. And now there's a way they could have done it, but instead they went with the way they went with it, and it was lackluster. And I don't think there's any way saving that game.
No, there's not.
I think the game would need like a major rehaul, which at this point I don't think Square Enix or Disney are probably like, we want that, or Marvel rather than Disney, or like, we want that. We want to put more money into this to really change things up.
At this point, they have to commit to getting Spider-Man out the door, right?
Yes, they probably have.
Well,
to.
yeah, they'll definitely do without a doubt.
Are they committed to anybody else? I don't think they've mentioned any other characters, have they? How long do you think it lasts? Well, when do you think Spider-Man comes? Do you think we see it next year?
They've already said he's coming relatively soon-ish, but I don't think you're going to get as much out of that Spider-Man as you think you are. I'm still confused to how he's going to swing. Well,
like Black Widow.
But that feels so bad.
I know.
That's like,
but that's what it will be.
How's he going to swing in the desert?
Yeah, no,
Like
that's the problem.
Yeah, it's terrible.
No, Matt's probably right. It will be
either
right. That, or they'll do the thing where it's like you can swing and nothing has to be there for you to swing. Which I wouldn't dislike. I just want the game to feel fun. I don't want to feel like it's a hassle, but I agree. I don't think they will. I think it'll be like, you can slingshot yourself there and then you can go like that. There won't be actual swinging in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it will be basically a skin on like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Black Widow, and Kamala Khan, essentially all traverse in the same way. And Spider-Man will be in that group.
This also, I want to point out, this conversation completely irrelevant here.
Yes.
To my Xbox and me, completely irrelevant.
Nah, yeah, but we're talking about the game. It's fine.
Yeah,
there's no saving that game.
It's done. It's done.
Absolutely.
Let's plug and get ourselves out of here. Crush, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at CrushnickPlays. Also, you guys should go to the iTunes page, the podcast, and you guys should leave a review. 5 stars. Don't let Fix be mad at you. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Next time I add it, I'll say it's a 5-star. Fix won't know you. He can't read the reviews from America, so I'll just say it's a 5-star, even if you leave a 4-star review next time. That was my mistake.
You screenshotted it.
I did, because
That's
I
where
was
you
like,
went
I'm being
wrong.
lazy. I'm just going to screenshot everything I have to do, because I'm
swear,
pretty sure the
I'm not
questions
read-
as well.
Just
I
so
did
you know, I'm not reading any if I don't see the screenshot anymore.
I ruined it for you guys. Also, go subscribe to the YouTube page. Leave a like on the latest video when this podcast goes out. If you have any questions, leave them there. The Twitter page or or Fix's Discord page. There's my Xbox and Me question section. There's also a section to have a conversations about my Xbox and Me that you guys can go have over there as well.
Yeah, a lot of people in there. Talking. They talk. It's very weird to see them talking about the show, and I'm like, I'm not.
Sometimes
in there.
I want to chime in,
And you're
but
like,
I'm like,
no.
I don't want to break that
They're
wall.
talking about
you. Yeah.
Matt, where can people find you?
Follow me on all of the things at Matt P Video if you like. But yeah, the important bit is that you go to the YouTube channel, get in the comments, get on the Discord. You know all the things at this point.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at MC Fixer. I forgot anything big to promote this week? I don't think so. If you're a graphic designer, hit me up.
Ooh.
If you're a graphic designer, I'm looking to get a logo redone, and I'm looking for my overlay to get redone. I've got an overlay that I made myself that doesn't. It's fine for right now, but it's not where I want it. So if you do graphic design, hit me up. I'd love that. Also, I'll put it out here on the podcast in case someone listening wants to put people forward. I would love to add a female voice to my Xbox and Me. It's something that I've wanted for a very long time. Obviously, we had Amy for a while, but she's now gone. So yeah, if you are a female and you want to talk about video games with us, you need to know how to edit as well. Video editing is a desirable skill because something we don't have much of in our team, as we're all very busy. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram, which is the new place that I'm pushing. Everyone go follow me on Instagram. That's my big thing. I've got Hayley. Hayley runs my Instagram at the moment, just so everyone's aware. And she's working her butt off to actually try and get me followers. She's like, come on, we're going to do this. So, yeah, just keep supporting each other. Keep being amazing. And until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Good boys.
Love you, bye.